Hello everybody, Happy New Year, welcome to 2021 and welcome to the very first episode of the Wrestling Connection of the brand new year. This is episode number 38, bit of an odd number to start the new year, but still, nothing we can do about that unfortunately. Welcome again everybody, this is the Wrestling Connection, this is TWC, my name is Chris and this is Glenn. Happy New Year my dear friend, how are you?
Happy New Year, Chris. I'm really well, how are you doing?
Very good, thank you. I'm feeling good about the new year for the longest time. This did have a hindrance on my Christmas. It was like, you know, the kind of the Christmas with an asterisk next to it. Like, it's not really Christmas and it's not the Christmas that we know, which is kind of having to put up with it this year. And it ended up being a lovely Christmas. Thanks for asking. And now we're here in the new year, and I was feeling quite doom and gloom about it. I was like, oh God, usually in the new year, I am full of ideas and full of motivation and full of resolutions. And this year I've had to give myself a wee bit of a kick to do those things. But now that we're here, we've had the first couple of days of the new year, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, me too. I've got a good feeling about this year. Good feeling about this year for the podcast as well. Absolutely. Because listen, this entire year is the 20th anniversary of one of the best years in the history of wrestling.
Absolutely.
Fight me if you don't like the invasion. We'll get there in the summer. But honestly,
oh my God, yes, we are doing an invasion pay-per-view watch along in the summer. I don't care the fact it's 3 hours. We're doing it.
We'll at the very least we'll do the inaugural brawl.
Okay,
but I have a good feeling about it. And listen, the whole this whole scenario makes me think of that Beatles song "Getting Better," and where Paul McCartney sings, "I must admit it's getting better," but then Lennon sings, "It couldn't get much worse." So it will get better, and at least it couldn't get much worse.
Yeah.
Surely not.
It's not going to get... Well, we never know. Famous last words. Some nice news about the vaccine and that sort of thing. So could 2021 be the year where there's a TWC done in person? I don't know, but hopefully. That would be nice.
Fingers crossed.
I am just back from my my first walk of the new year. I'm going to still go on these walks, and my mum got new trainers for her Christmas, so we was able to come out with this today. So she was buzzing, and I'll tell you something, by the way. I know it's still January, but it is Baltic outside. And I know you had a nice walk earlier on with your friend Jamie, who did the artwork of the show. How is he doing?
He's doing well. Do you know he suffered a bit of an injury, broken arm, earlier in the year? Yeah, it's actually quite embarrassing because it happened a few months ago when I was in my old flat, and we used to live near a play park, and apparently I was out with the dog when he'd just fallen, and they were shouting on me to come and help. But I had my earphones in, and I missed it. And then I did a big loop around the neighbourhood. And when I was coming back to my flat, I just saw this ambulance. So, I wonder what's happened. And then I realised it was my mate Jamie that was in the ambulance getting his arm seen to. Oopsie. Sorry, Jamie. Thanks for doing the artwork.
Thanks for doing the artwork. Be a good arm.
Well, he's doing well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, good. I'm glad he's doing it right. Did he listen to the show ever, or did he listen to one and that was it?
He does every now and then he'll text me and say something like, "It was only once that I met Drew McIntyre at the Cat House. What are you saying that for?"
Right.
He'll correct me and keep me right.
Yeah.
So, folks, just to amend something that I think in a previous episode I once said that Jamie used to regularly bump into Drew McIntyre at the Cat House. That was a lie. He bumped into him once.
Yeah, only the once. Only the one time, which is fine. Christmas-wise, obviously, we recorded the Christmas special and the New Year's episode a couple of days before Christmas itself, so we've not been able to catch up. So how was Christmas itself? Was it nice and festive? And can you please tell us any nice gifts that you got?
Yeah. Right. So I think, like everybody, our Christmas plans changed 100 times over when they announced the kind of the new wave of restrictions just before Christmas, and so we kind of shuffled things about. We were really keen to see my wife's family, just because they've had a really rough year. They live further away, but under the new rules, that was going to be trickier, of course, because we weren't allowed to stay over. So we got up bright and early on Christmas morning, and I tell you what, mate, I did not feel Christmassy building up to this year.
Yeah,
I kind of lost my Christmas spirit. But then going out that morning with the dog and just randomly saying Merry Christmas to well, not just randomly saying it out loud. What I mean is saying it to random people.
Just walking around. Merry Christmas.
People, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas tree. Merry Christmas bush. Just saying it to people who passed by started to make me feel Christmassy.
Yeah.
And so then we drove up into Fife, which is where they are, and spent the entire day with Kate's parents and her sister, and their wee boy came along, and spending Christmas with a toddler.
Oh,
Like,
mate.
makes you get your Christmas spirit back, and that was magical. And then we drove home the same night. Got home, we were absolutely knackered. Spent Boxing Day in bed, but it was worth it, man.
Yeah.
It really was. Well, how was yours?
Mine was lovely too. Yeah, do you know what made me feel a bit Christmassy as well? That Christmas special. It was nice to have the Christmas special that we did, and then have the video, you know, up there on CM42 TV, and having people watching it and commenting and that sort of thing.
I know.
I thought
Here,
that was nice.
it was nice, and I was talking to my wonderful, amazing, beautiful, definitely not an earshot wife, about this.
I sense some sarcasm.
I was telling her about that the other day because I was also like showing her you posted a video, you and your wonderful sister doing your Christmas haul video, and Kate was like, "Oh, what are you watching?" I was like, "Oh, it's Chris and it's his channel. It's really good." And I just accidentally misspoke. I fluffed my words. I went, "It's really good. He's got 3.5 subscribers."
Feels like it sometimes.
Yeah. 3,500 subscribers. Dear listener, Chris does all right for himself.
Ah, well, listen, it's been a work in progress over the past number of years. But yeah, no, it was good. It was nice putting that. I have to speak to you about this actually, because I was supposed to do this off air, but I forgot. We did that video, right? And it did, you know, all right views. It got like nearly 3 figures. And I always say that, like, sometimes I struggle to bring myself to film. I'd like to film in bulk. I'll do like 5 videos in the one go and release them over a week. Sometimes I struggle to get the energy to do 5 videos, you know, in the one go. And I always say to myself, if a video gets more than 100 views, if it gets like a 3-figure view or more, then it was worth it, because then like I performed in front of less people. You know what I mean? It's like a decent amount of people listening and watching. So the fact it did all right, especially because the podcast content doesn't always get loads of eyes and ears. So I was thinking we should probably do more wee video things like that. And even if it was just like wee segments here and there, if you can set your phone up like you did, and I'll do the same. And even if it's just like a 10-minute segment of the episode, you know, you could post them as a video, and then that might get some more eyes and ears. What do you think?
Absolutely. But you know, I'm a wee bit miffed that I'm on your channel now, that my video with you has that number of views, and then the video of you and your sister has way more than that. Well, what's this all about? Why do your audience clearly like Chris and Chris's sister more than Chris and Glenn of the Wrestling Connection?
I have had people comment saying like my sister is the favourite character on the channel, like better than you.
Mean, she does bring a dry sarcasm to it that I enjoy.
She was offended that you thought she was a Ravenclaw. I'm a Ravenclaw. She's a Hufflepuff.
You weren't supposed to tell it. No, right? Okay, right. So I don't know your sister listens to the podcast, so let me just.
I'll tell you something. Absolutely not.
Right. So you're not listening, Rachel, but listen. Having been a Potter fanatic, having had a wedding with lots of Potter imagery, having ran a successful Harry Potter club at a respected high school for a couple of years, it was the highest compliment, because Ravenclaws are known for their intelligence and their intellectualism. So how your lug of a brother ended up in there, I have no idea. So take it as a compliment, because I know you to be smart. And that's why I assumed Ravenclaw. That's not me saying that you don't have the friendliness and the loyalty of a Hufflepuff. You clearly do.
I think Ravenclaw is more like sort of intellect of a different level. It's not really like smartness, if that's, I'm going to use that word, which I know is incorrect, which proves that I'm not actually a Ravenclaw. But it also brings a lot of cunningness and wit.
Right. Yeah, so Chris, I'm now going to refer you to Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. We're going to turn our books now. Do you hear that? We're going to turn our pages. We're going to turn to chapter 7, The Sorting Hat.
I can't believe we're actually in the middle of one of Glenn's English lessons here in the podcast.
And I've got the original edition, so this is page 88 for those of you at home who
I don't have one at hand. It's upstairs.
Let's just go through this. You might belong in Griffin.
I do. Right. What page? I've got one here. What page?
Well, what edition have you got? Is it the purple edition?
Yeah, the purpley one. It's definitely not first edition.
Don't know which edition it's the Sorting Hat. Okay, chapter, which is early on. I believe that's chapter 7. You're looking for, young man, and it's
I've got it right. Okay, I'm on the chapter.
You're good to get to the song. Okay,
right,
you might belong in Gryffindor, where dwell the brave at heart. Their daring nerve and chivalry set Gryffindors apart. You might belong in Hufflepuff, where they are just and loyal. The patient Hufflepuffs are true and unafraid of toil. Or yet in wise old Ravenclaw, if you've a ready mind, where those of wit and learning will always find their kind.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I saw your sister, okay? Or perhaps in Slytherin, you'll make your real friends. Those cunning folk use any means to achieve. To be honest, I can kind of see a bit of her in that as well.
Oh, don't tell you said that. Don't tell you said that.
Well, she doesn't listen, so who cares?
I know, who cares. Okay, welcome back to the Harry Potter Connection with Chris and Glenn. No, listen, that was funny because I do have a Philosopher's Stone at hand. I actually have 2 copies of the Philosopher's Stone in the house. And I think my sister has 4 copies of Goblet of Fire. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so Chris actually told me, folks, I know this is the Wrestling Connection, that he's paused reading The Goblet of Fire. I'm sorry, that's one of the best in the series. Pull your finger out, young man, and start reading The Goblet of Fire.
Can you tell the wrestling fans of the podcast why I've paused reading The Goblet of Fire?
Oh, because he wants to read the Young Bucks books. You know, if the Young Bucks were here right now, Matt and Nick, they would say, finish The Goblet of Fire, because you need to stick at it. The message of their book is that if you stick at it, if you're consistent, if you're determined, you will succeed. So don't pick up their book first. You've already paid for it. They've got their money.
That's true. Okay? As Nick Jackson said to a young Chris Moffat 2 years ago in Edinburgh, the trick is just to keep going. So read The Goblet of Fire. I'll have your critical essay on my desk. I want an introduction that uses tarts. I want 4 PCQE paragraphs and a conclusion. Thank you very much. And I want that next week. Tell your students never got on the wrong side of you as a teacher. Or as Matt says, it's hard, man. So yeah, the young, listen, you know what I feel about the Young Bucks. I've got a lot of time for them. I've met them in person. They are top 3 nicest wrestlers I've ever met, up there with Piper and probably Sheamus. And if you ever get the chance to meet them, jump at the opportunity because you're going to have a great experience. Reading their book is like reading the Hardys book. You know, it's like relating to loads of things about them and finding different reasons to connect with them. And they went through some childhood, by the way, with their parents and that sort of thing. Oh, God, you need to read it. It's a great book and it's such an easy read too.
You know, I'll read it. Maybe someone will buy it for my birthday in February.
Is that an aim?
My wife is definitely not in earshot, so we'll see.
Okay, good.
But I also have friends who listen to this podcast. Coordinate, people.
Yeah, there we go. If there's any listeners out there that want to send Glenn the Young Bucks book, it's on Amazon for like $10.99 right now.
All right, just send it to the Wrestling Connection at 123 Fake Street.
123fakestreet.com. It's a new year, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of things about the Wrestling Connection will, of course, stay the same. You will get the great patter and humour. You will get the ridiculous, obscure knowledge. You'll get the hilarious, funny stories. But you will also get some new segments that have not yet run past Glenn. One of them is, doing some more watch-alongs. I really enjoyed that SmackDown, and we're going to do the Royal Rumble 2001 in a couple of weeks. Another one is I want to introduce a segment called Moment of the Week, where Glenn and I, it's something I used to do at my wee cinema club with my mates, although that's no longer in existence because all cinemas are closed. What I would like Glenn to bring to the table, as well as myself bring to the table every week, is choose a moment of your week in real life that was full of joy, or even full of sadness, really, and try and exaggerate it so we can get a nice, fun story that is non-wrestling related on. It could be wrestling related, but I mean, just mean like it could be a story about anything on the podcast every week. Moment of the week. Are you all right with that?
Can we do a pilot of that now? Because I have something to bring to the table. It is slightly wrestling related, though.
That's all right. No. I shouldn't have said non-wrestling related. If it is wrestling, because our week is full of wrestling stuff, isn't it? So it's more likely going to include some wrestling stuff. But let's do a wee pilot run. Glenn, what is your moment of the week?
Okay, we don't have a jingle from Kate yet, so I'll just do that live. I'm going to improvise this. If you are feeling bleak, just tune into the moment of the week. Was that the segment? Is that what it's called, the moment of the week?
Moment of the week. We could come up with a funny name for it, but I mean...
Okay, right. So for this, Chris, I'm going to need you to get your phone out because I'm going to have to send you some stuff, and this will also go on the Instagram, okay?
I actually have the Rangers game on my phone just now, so...
I know nothing about football, folks, but I have noticed that when Chris puts stuff on the Wrestling Connection Twitter, he uses a blue love heart, which I think is a football reference.
No,
he should be keeping it neutral and using a red love heart, which is the color of love.
Red has blue's my favorite color. I'm just saying, blue's my favorite. Right, okay, I got my phone.
Blue is actually my favourite colour, but folks, I am not a football man.
And I'm a Ravenclaw, so use blue.
Right, so a wee bit of historical context quickly first. In the year 2000, when I was in primary 6, I went for a phase where I would buy WWF magazine, cut out the pictures and then make my own magazine. I would like glue them in or sellotape them onto a bit of paper, write my own articles, and kind of like I used to say, like Power Slam and all that got me into reading and writing. And there was another craze that went around when I was in primary school, and I don't know if it was still a thing when you were at primary, because you're quite a few years younger than me, but there was a wee phase where people would like write their own magazine about any topic. It could be video games, could be sport or fashion. They'd photocopy them and sell them. And usually it'd be to raise money for charity, but sometimes the more entrepreneurial young people would just sell them for profit. I never did that with my wrestling magazines, but that was a thing at the time when I was in primary. Now, a couple of days ago, a dear friend of mine, Rohit, who I met when I was at uni 12 years ago now, nearly 13, Jesus. He's been back in town. He managed to get back up from London before the world ended again, and he's been in Glasgow for a while now, and it meant we got to meet up and have a distance walk the other day. And he's actually a listener to the podcast, even though he doesn't really follow wrestling at all. Oh. He did once tell me that when he was at primary school, when they used to play wrestling, he would refer to himself as Y2R. That was his, that was his wrestling name. And then he came round and we sat in the garden for a bit yesterday, or no, a couple of days ago it was, and we were out for a walk in the countryside. And he just all of a sudden went, we were talking about the podcast, and he went, "Oh, I meant to tell you, I found my old wrestling magazine." I was like, "What?" I found my old wrestling magazine. I thought, "Oh, did you have an old copy of Power Slam lying about the WWF mag?" It's like, no. We at school we wrote a wrestling magazine and we sold it every week for 10 pence a piece. Like, what? And I said, "You need to send me this. This sounds amazing." And it was like properly typed up and everything. So, Chris, you've heard of WWF magazine. You've heard of Power Slam. You've heard of Fighting Spirit. But yes. Chris, are you ready for Ultimate Wrestling Magazine?
I mean, I'm ready as love be.
So I'm going to send you the one surviving issue of Ultimate Wrestling Magazine. It's only a few pages long, but I'm going to send you it in page increments, okay? So I'm going to send you the front cover of the one surviving issue now of Ultimate Wrestling Magazine, and it's from 1999. That's important, okay?
Okay.
It's from the end of 99. I think early 2000, actually.
We should make clear, guys, this is going to be on... Just see the cover. This is going to be on the Instagram. Oh my God. So, I mean, listen, it doesn't look that bad.
It doesn't. So, Ultimate Wrestling Magazine, Tempe. D'Lo is WCW, the real deal. And a picture of D'Lo Brown.
Cover star. The real deal now.
I'm now going to send you the cover article, okay?
Okay.
And bearing in mind, this was written by primary school children in the late 90s.
I love that.
And I'm going to send it to you, and I'll read it out once you've got it for the listeners to hear. But this will go on the Instagram, folks. So this is the cover story. This is the big goss that D'Lo is apparently WCW bound.
Oh man, this was like a close to home dirt sheet from back in the day.
I know, right? So again, here we go. Here's Gecko's gossip. Don't ask me who Gecko is. This was him and a team of boys. So we're going to go through this scoop now. It's only 20 years too late. D'Lo Brown is seriously thinking about joining WCW. Have you got this?
Yeah. Reading
this
along.
Will be disappointing for the WWF. D'Lo is a great wrestler and athlete. He is 4-time European and Intercontinental Champion. He found out recently that he had only 2 months in his WWF contract. Oh no! This is going to end his career. This guy thinks that just means you have to go. There's no contract renewal. This is going to end his career in the WWF. If you watch WCW, then you might have noticed Double J, he got sold to WCW because he was complaining too much. It's not too far off.
No, not really, actually.
I think D'Lo Brown should stay, but he has to go because of his contract. No, he doesn't! He'll probably leave around Royal Rumble time, but I'm not sure. We hope he does well in WCW because he did do well in the WWF. At one time, he was a 400-pounder like his former tag partner, Mark Henry. It took him 2 years to lose 200 pounds. Now he is 260 pounds. D'Lo Brown would have a lot of memories in the WWF ever since he joined in February 1994. The WWF gave D'Lo good tag partner. They should have kept them together. Don't know who that is.
Don't know.
At the end of the day, D'Lo Brown is a great wrestler and athlete in WWF or WCW. We hope he comes back to the WWF soon.
Oh.
I'm going to go on a limb here and say that this person's link, this person's source in the WWF is maybe not too credible.
No, it's not. But listen, for a primary school, it's not that badly written.
No, it's not. And I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you the next page. More Geckos gossip.
Oh God. Okay.
This month there was a bumper issue, I think. Finally, so the headline, folks, is Macho Man and Wrath return.
Wrath.
I actually don't know who Wrath is.
Wrath is in. He was in ECW for a bit, and then I'm sure he went to WCW.
Finally, Macho Man and Wrath have come back to the WWF. You know, a point where you don't have any news, you just make it up.
Okay.
Rumors have said that Wrath and Macho Man Randy Savage are coming back to the WWF. They are already big superstars in WCW, and they will become even bigger in the WWF. Macho Man Randy Savage has already been in the WWF and has been the WWF champion and Intercontinental champion. True. He has also been the WCW heavyweight champion as well. Wrath is a great superstar as well. Wrath might join DX. If you think so, vote here.
I like that.
I love this. The fan interaction.
It's like Cyber Sunday.
Yeah. Now, this is my favorite page I'm going to send you.
I had Wrath on action figure, and I used to play him as Rhino because I didn't have Rhino.
I didn't never heard of Wrath. This next page, mate, is all about one of our boys.
Oh God. Oh please. Okay.
Tasmania.
Oh yes. Oh, you can vote for which one you want the most.
So this person here clearly has done their homework. ECW star is set to join the WWF at next year's Royal Rumble 2000. Taz has challenged wrestlers such as Goldberg, DDP, Mankind, Austin, The Rock, and the Hulkster. He doesn't have anything against them. We would love to see him against somebody like The Rock. The question I'm asking you is, who will Taz face first? Taz versus The Rock, Taz versus Austin, or, no bias here, Taz versus Mankind in a box? Who would you vote for out of that? Honestly,
I would have
we
voted
got Austin, but...
Well, I would have voted for The Rock if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the next page I'm not going to send you just because I don't really need to. It's the WWF quiz.
Oh, yes, okay.
I wondered if you could answer this correctly. Okay. So we're going to do this quick fire, okay?
Okay.
So there's 15 questions. What is X-Pac's real name?
Sean Waltman.
What is The Undertaker's real name?
Mark Calloway.
This next one is unfair, but it's late 1999.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
Let's just answer it as if it's based on today. Who was Bret Hart's last match against?
The Miz, or was it Vince?
I think it was The Miz.
Or was it? It may have been the Nexus match at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's hard to answer.
Yeah.
How many times has The Rock won the title?
Oh, okay.
Up to and including this year.
Up to including this year, I'm going to go 5.
It's actually quite hard to answer because I always forget about the 2013 run.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
What is Kane's real name?
Kane's real name?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's Mayor Jacobs.
Yep. What is Y2J's finisher?
Oh, it depends what you're looking at. Like now it's a Judas effect.
Yep. Who won the title at SummerSlam 99?
Mankind, yes.
Yep. Who is Triple H married to?
China. No, it's definitely man.
Who is the leader of the Bridge?
Friend of the show, the Vampire Warrior, clanging and banging, it's Gangrel.
What is The Rock's real name?
Steve Williams.
Where was SummerSlam 98 held?
98 was in Madison Square Garden.
Yep. Who won this year's, I think they mean the 99 one because this is before 2000. Who won this year's Royal Rumble?
Well, 99 was Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Who is the European champion just now?
Just now, if I had to guess in current times, I'm going to predict Aleister Black or Elias.
What is the main event at Rebellion?
Okay. I don't know Rebellion 99 if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was... Oh, wait a minute. Rebellion 99? What's that? The Rock, Mankind, and Ken Shamrock? Steel Cage? No, I don't think that was Rebellion. Come back to me.
And the last one is, what is The Rock's real name? No, sorry, what's Steve Austin's real name?
Dwayne Johnson.
So I absolutely loved it when I saw this.
That was great.
So, folks, we will post this with the permission of one of the founding editors of Ultimate Tempe Wrestling Magazine. We will post this cover on the Instagram. If you ever made your own wrestling magazines, let me know, because I made a SmackDown magazine before SmackDown magazine was ever a thing.
Oh, really? That's you can see the future. So I had my backyard wrestling company, CWA, which was Chris's Wrestling Alliance. I made CWA magazine, and I would cut out. So I'd write like information about the wrestlers, and I'd say, so my character was Christoph Hero, because no one had heard of the independent wrestler Chris Hero, clearly. I wrote next to it like Christoph Hero is so and so, and he has 10 years of experience, and his finishing move is a super kick, and all that stuff. And then I would cut out the merchandise adverts of the back of actual WWF magazine or WWE magazine, and stick them in the back of CWA magazine, and sell Hardcore Holly figures, John Cena bedspread, all that in the back of CWA magazine.
You must have made a pretty penny out of that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's how I afforded all my wrestlers.
We mentioned Taz there, and without turning this into the Glenn show, I had a couple of Taz-related points I wanted to bring up with you, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah.
First of all, the first one's just a quick one. Have you noticed that Taz's theme is the Shield theme, but faster?
What, it's WWE theme?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I guess so, yeah.
But my next thing comes from the fact that, we've talked in this podcast about our love of Taz.
Yep.
And the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, New York, / Buchanan Galleries car park. Now, this whole thing about Buchanan Galleries, folks, it comes from one of our first ever episodes when we spoke about the WWF Hardcore videotape. It was also a DVD as well.
Yeah.
That came out in 2000, 2001. And it featured Taz hosting the show from a rundown car park, which looks like the car park of a shopping mall in Glasgow called Buchanan Galleries. And, this mesmerized me. And then the other night, Chris, I decided just to do a bit of research on Red Hook, because without going on your phone, okay, so please don't cheat here.
Okay.
When you think of Taz and you think of Red Hook, what kind of place do you imagine?
I just always assumed it was a kind of like a rough area. Like he got into a lot of fights as a youngster. He was a kind of smaller guy in stature, but he was dangerous and people kind of feared him.
Yeah, exactly. I always imagined the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, New York, as a perpetual dark and dusty alleyway.
Right.
And it's almost like the warehouse at the old Raw is War intro.
Yeah.
And Taz is wandering around there with that big towel on his head, and people are going, "Hey, you want to buy some death sticks?" And instead of saying, "You want to go home and rethink your life," he's going, "Hey, I'm going to punk you out, punk. I'm going to choke you out, punk," rather. And he's just going about choking people out and suplexing them, and it's rough, and there are bins on fire, there's broken glass happening everywhere, there's sirens.
There's a thorn in your eye.
Yeah. Like, that's what I imagine the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, New York. So I typed into Google, right? And the first result that came up was like your standard sort of tourist kind of page, and it's like the first thing that comes up when you put in Red Hook Brooklyn. I'm going to read the description of Red Hook to you now, Chris.
Okay.
And I think you'll understand me when I say that when I read this, a part of my childhood died.
Do I want to hear this?
Set against a backdrop of shipping yards and pre-Civil War warehouses in Brooklyn. Sounds promising, okay?
Yeah.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Red Hook has a laid-back seaside village vibe.
Whoa.
Young families and creative professionals make up a large part of the community. A mix of honey eateries and quirky bars plus edgy art galleries and boutiques proliferate along Van Brunt Street, the main artery. Several indie distilleries and a winery offer tasting and tours. That's not the Red Hook!
Let's just okay. So the only reason that Taz insisted that the ring announcer say he is from the Red Hook section of Brooklyn is now only because it sounds cool, not actually because it's rough like the Taz character.
That's not Red Hook, that's Bear's Den.
Yes, it's on its largs.
It's classier than largs, mate.
I know. Oh,
this is the biggest secret in the history of wrestling.
Well,
this is bigger than the fact that Sean knew about the screw job. You know, Taz is from a place with fine wineries and honey eateries. What the flip is a honey eatery? Quirky bars. Can you imagine Taz sitting in the corner of a quirky bar with a towel on his head? And his wee singlet. Well, actually, I probably could. Red Hook was a way of life. And the fact that he's called his son Hook now, just Oh,
we haven't spoken about that in the podcast yet. So I thought I knew his son's name. That can't be his real name. Hang on a second. I'm gonna.
yeah, it's probably Fine Eatery.
Yeah. Taz is a fine eatery. All right. Okay. So it's not his real name. Okay, that makes me feel better. This makes more sense because I used to listen to the Taz show all the time. His podcast he used to do every day. The Human Podcast Machine that went into the Taz show. He talked about his son Tyler all the time, and I was like, all right, cool. Who was trained by Cody Rhodes, and his wrestling name is Hook, based on the Red Hook section. And ever since we've seen Hook in AEW, he's always got his hood up and his hands in his pockets, and he looks quite menacing. Now he has to come out wearing a fine 3-piece suit and be clean shaven and have slick back hair, because that is what will represent the Red Hook section of Brooklyn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or he's Hook from the Red Taz section of Brooklyn.
Hey, I don't know. Talking. Yeah.
But so that was really all I had. I mean, I just was mortified to find out that Red Hook isn't. That should be the title of this episode: the shocking reality of the Red Hook section of Brooklyn. No, don't call it that, but call it whatever you want. But I just, it blew my mind. Taz, the human suplex machine, at a winery,
fine winery, yeah,
fine winery, yeah.
Oh well, there you go. WWF Hardcore was actually, in fact, a green screen, and
definitely.
It was actually just across the road from a beautiful cafe that probably serves scones.
Nice honeys.
2 for £2. Yeah. All right. Well, I feel better about Taz now. I feel like he's a much more refined young man, so that's good. I love Taz, by the way. You see Team Taz and AEW and his commentary and stuff. A lot of time for Taz.
Yeah, and if you're listening, Taz, do not kill us. And I have to say that because Paul Heyman listened to the show, so the fact that Taz could listen is possible.
That's true. You say that Taz's theme song was a version of the Shield song. Do you remember the Big Show and the Undertaker's theme song from WWF Attitude Era?
No.
Right, I'm going to need to get it up on Spotify. So they formed a team for a bit in '99 as the Unholy Alliance.
Yeah, because they were tag champions at one point. Yeah. I remember this.
And that was the one where Big Show threw Mankind across the SmackDown set into the Buried Alive thing. He threw him off.
That's right. I remember watching that when it was broadcast, like on the Saturday morning broadcast.
I'm just at that moment on my Attitude Era watch through, actually, which has been paused because of all the Christmas films and the WWE matches for the year. Okay, so this was the Big Show and Undertaker's tag team theme. Great tune, but it's just Sting's theme song. It's Sting's theme song from WWE, and that got me thinking about Sting's other theme songs, like in TNA, the guitar riff in WCW, that iconic song. Have you heard his AEW song?
It's amazing.
It's amazing, but does it not start off sounding like Kane's theme song?
Yes, the more recent Kane theme.
The more recent, like the if you'd missed that was that just got me thinking. This has got me thinking, like, how come Sting's theme song was a rip-off of Undertaker's theme song, so then he ripped off Undertaker's brother's theme song, Kane? That's my moment of the week, by the way, discovering that.
And the original Antonio Cesaro theme was Dean Malenko's theme.
Oh, yeah, so it was Antonio Cesaro. Okay, seriously, though, ask me what my moment of the week was.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
First of all, I feel bad the fact that you brought this segment to the table and I've just gone, great, me! But since you brought this to the table, my expectations are very high. What was your moment of the week?
They will be higher in future. The stories will be better in future. I don't have that much of a good story. I just wanted to talk about something. So Christmas is my moment of the week, of course, even though we're a little bit after Christmas, but I'm still counting it. Christmas being a day full of cheer and definite normality because we did have family over. First time in ages. And we were as sensible as we could be anyway. And yes, we do have a toddler in the family as well, so he was running about mad, which was lovely. And it was just a really nice day. So then, on Christmas Day, I was busy with family. We had family over here instead of going elsewhere for the first time in about 8 years, which was so nice. I could play with my toys here. And the Santa got me. And because it was a Friday, SmackDown was on. And, you know, Christmas Day, I had family over, we were having dinner and stuff. I was too busy, I couldn't watch SmackDown. And I also don't have the channels to watch SmackDown. So I was like, okay, I can't watch it live anyway, I'll just watch it the next day. Which is what I've been doing a lot. I've been really enjoying SmackDown. It's my current favourite brand in WWE. My favorite wrestling show right now is Dynamite, but
Same.
but SmackDown's my favorite WWE show. I just think it's so much. I don't know if it's the 2 hour thing or if it's the fact that Roman Reigns is in charge. I don't know, but I just enjoy watching. Let's get Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's on Raw now. Anyway, you know what I mean. It's just the best show right now.
Yeah.
So I always watch on Saturday morning, and if I can't find a dodgy copy on Daily Motion or something, I'll just watch the highlights on YouTube. But because it was such a big episode, and I heard that it was getting big viewership, and it had the Big E Sami Zayn title change in the main event, and it also had Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens in a steel cage match, and I was like, got to watch that. So I went onto Daily Motion, and I've got a Chromecast that I can cast from Daily Motion onto my TV. But the problem with that is the Daily Motion copies are never in HD. So I always struggle with that and end up just going to the HD highlights on YouTube, but I prefer to watch the full show. It's a whole deal. So I go, okay, I'm going to watch the full show because it's the Christmas edition. I heard it was an action-packed edition, 2 big title matches. It'll be a lot of fun. And besides, it's Boxing Day. It's a day for, being lazy. I can just watch SmackDown.
Yeah.
So I go on Daily Motion, I find the copy, I Chromecast it up, and the cage match was the opening match. And Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns start in the ring, and they're having their Universal title match inside the cage. And the quality of the video was so bad that I couldn't actually see Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens because the cage was also blocking the view because of, the fact that the cameras were filming through the cage and stuff like that. And I was like, I literally cannot watch this. And I said, to hell with this. I'm not doing this anymore. It's the new year. It's about to be a new year. I'm doing it. I've invested the money. I now have BT Sport. So now I can watch Raw, SmackDown and NXT every single week in glorious HD. And that, my friend, is my moment of the week. You should have seen my face last night when I unlocked it on Sky. I was like, it was like a kid opening a wrestling figure on Christmas Day. I was buzzing because for a year now, I was very lucky. I've always had Sky Sports. Very, very lucky. But then Sky Sports cancelled WWE. And the last segment that I ever saw on my television of wrestling was the Rusev, Bobby Lashley, Lana wedding at the end of 2019. And I'm a massive fan of Rusev and Miro. Massive fan of him. A lot of time for him. But it just wasn't the best taste to be left in my mouth of watching wrestling on television. And I was okay to have a break. But it was just so... I'm the guy that kind of likes to watch everything. I want to stay on top of things. I like to see everything and have an opinion on everything. It was hard kind of watching it. And you know yourself how difficult it is to keep up with things. There's so much wrestling, every week. And I just always said, okay, it's too much money or whatever. But I kind of worked out, and I thought the new year I also got a nice sort of Christmas pay as well at the end of the year. And I was like, well, so I've got the money. I had Christmas plans that were cancelled that I had to pay for. So I had a bit of extra money. And I thought, I'm going to do it. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be an investment. So, subscribe to BT Sports. So now you can expect every week here on the channel for some, not on the channel, on the podcast, for some modern wrestling chat if I get a chance to bring it up on the podcast. So there you go. That's my moment of the week. I am now a BT Sports subscriber.
Nice one. And answer me this. How did you do this? How much does it cost? And how can I do it?
Well, I don't know. If you do it online, there is lots of like activation fees and stuff. So I did it through my Skybox, and I believe it is $21.99 a month. Yeah. I've lost Glenn.
I don't think I'm going to do it. It's too much.
I was also thinking for the longest time, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. WWE's not worth it. But I just thought it's been dry. It's been really annoying me not having it, and I just thought I'm going to do it because I can. And then why do I not like NXT right now? It's because I can't watch it, can I? I'm always seeing the negative.
It's also really lackluster.
It's also very lackluster. You're right. But yeah, I just thought I've been wanting to do it for ages, and I mean, there's different. If you can, you can negotiate. I think some people have got it for $14.99 a month. Some folk have to pay extra. I don't know. But yeah, I decided to do it, and I also paid like an upfront 6-month fee. So instead of doing it every month, I just decided to pay it all in one go whilst I've got a bit of spare cash. So I love people just chatting about our current financial situation, but it's fine. I'm glad I've done it, and it also means I get the extra football, and I get the UFC and stuff. So it's more of an investment for the next 6 months anyway. So that's what I've been up to.
I was kind of thinking about getting rid of my Impact Plus, so there was going to be some wiggle room there for subscribing to the WWE stuff. But that's all I would watch on BT Sport because I don't watch any other sport.
Yeah. Right.
So is it worth it if all I'm going to watch is Raw and SmackDown and NXT?
Well, look at it like this. What are you going to watch more of? The current stuff or the network? You're going to watch
So
the network.
hard to say.
You're going to watch the network, let's be honest.
Probably.
Another new segment on the show that I've not run past Glenn is the...
So again, I don't have a jingle. I can only apologise to my adoring fans.
That's all right. It is the WWE Joke of the Week. Glenn, why were Gene Okerlund's trousers always so angry? Because they were mean jeans.
You know, we really had some momentum before, you know.
Oh, God. Mean jeans. I came down on Christmas morning to a WWE legendary joke book in my stocking. And I now have a book full of wrestling-themed jokes, so you better believe every week on the Wrestling Connection, you'll get one of these legendary top-tier jokes, just like the Mean Gene one right there.
How does JR like his ice cream?
What?
Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold!
What's a WWE superstar's favourite candy? An armbar. Armbar. Oh, anyway, God. Oh. Why do sailors make good WWE superstars? Because they already know the ropes.
Does this mean we don't have to have this segment for 3 weeks since we've had 3 of your jokes?
No, every week. Every week we'll do that. Right, well, what do you want to do? You want to do a random wrestler before we close out?
Yeah. Drop the cage.
Have you got anything else to chat about this week?
Definitely not.
Because you had a few things noted down, didn't you?
I did, but... Oh! I had a thankful, but we can do that next week if you want.
Right, okay, keep it noted down then. And we'll do We'll do the segments next week.
It's the one I forgot about 6 weeks ago that I've still not talked about.
Did you get any wrestling-themed Christmas presents this year from Santa?
That's a really good question. No is the answer. The only ones I got were the lovely presents from you.
Yeah.
Such as Scotty Too Hottie, who's looking at me right now. But no, I didn't get any, actually, at all from anyone. Friends, come on.
I did. I had my Undertaker Christmas jumper on a lot, but I have officially filed it away for another year. So thank you very much for that.
I'm glad. Did you? Well, actually, I know you got. No, I know what you got for Christmas. I saw it in your YouTube video.
Yeah, far too much again. If anyone out there listening wants to see what I got for Christmas, you can check out my YouTube channel, which is, of course, CM42 TV. And we're getting into, mentioned this earlier on, we're getting into, list season in my life. And I go a bit nuts with this. And I'm going to post them all on the Wrestle Connection YouTube channel. So the channel is just called Wrestle Connection, and there will be top 10 matches of WWE of 2020, top 10 AEW matches, NXT, most likely New Japan. I've decided to do it. Thunderdome matches, opening matches. There'll be top 10s and 20s of everything. So have a look on the YouTube channel. All right.
See, before you pull this out of the box, can I just let everyone listening know, all 12 of you, that if you turn to page 14 of this month's Inside the Ropes magazine, you'll see a question which I submitted has been published. And Finn Martin, the man who I cite as the reason that I'm an English teacher to this today, has written a lengthy answer. So I asked Finn Martin, assuming he isn't actually immortal, what do you think the immediate aftermath of Vince McMahon's death will look like? And then my name is there in print, Chris. And if you want to know what Finn Martin has to say about that, then you have to buy this month's issue of Inside the Ropes magazine. That's issue 4, January 2021 edition. Or better yet, subscribe for a year. It's much better value for money, ladies and jelly spoons.
You can subscribe to a year or a magazine, or you could subscribe to BT Sport for WWE.
Go for the magazine, folks. It won't disappoint you.
You're right. Yeah, the magazine is great. And it's one of my favourite things to do on like a day off. Sit with like an old Attitude Era programming thing on the TV and sit there with a magazine, flick through it, and then get frustrated the fact I can't figure out all the answers in the crossword. Right.
Solid.
It's so hard, isn't it? Like, there's obvious answers, and then there's really difficult ones.
issue 1, I was like, yeah, I can do this. I'm looking forward to next month's because it'll give me that sense of satisfaction at being good at wrestling.
Let's do it now.
And now I just feel like I know nothing.
Let's do it now, right? So I've got the new copy here, right? Okay.
I've not even got as far as this yet in the new edition.
All right. Let me find a really difficult question at the back of this one. The state that hosted the first ever Royal Rumble on pay-per-view.
I haven't a clue.
See what I mean? No idea. Then you've got Kurt Angle covered the alliance with this in 2001. 4 letters.
Milk.
Yeah, that's true. Connects Papa Shango, Too Cold Scorpio, and Conan.
Well, there's magical powers.
Too Cold Scorpio.
They all had lots of different gimmicks. No, they didn't. That's terrible.
I have no idea.
Right, so Yokozuna's finisher, the blank drop.
There's a bonsai drop, yeah.
Oh, okay. Lanny Poffo used to read these out before matches. Number 5. Was it poems?
Poems, yeah.
Chavo Guerrero's hobby horse. Was that Pepe?
That was Pepe. After Albert, before Tenzai.
A-Train.
That's A-Train.
Okay, right. I'll report back next week on how I've got on with this crossword. Bloody hell. But folks, go in to Inside the Ropes' website, subscribe to the magazine. You will not be disappointed, and you'll even get to see my question to the editor. Not the editor, but one of the contributors, Finn Martin.
Shawn Michaels' tag partner at Backlash 06.
God.
Right, let's do it again. This is Random Wrestler Recollection, Lower the Cage. Here we go. Reach again. We're actually coming nearly at the end of the box here of the random names, so I need to redo it. Alright. This week, we have the one and only Lita.
I only got to see Lita wrestle live once, and that was at Rebellion 01.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she teamed up with Tori Wilson, who joined the WWF to face Stacy Keibler and Mighty Molly, with Trish Stratus as the guest referee.
OMFG.
It should have been a much greater match than it was, but it wasn't given a lot of time. It was the match that they put in between Angle, Jericho, and Rock and Austin. But I loved Lita. I read her autobiography when I was a teenager, I think, and she's just one of the most over stars of the entire Attitude Era, wasn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh, Chris, I used to do a wee dance to that song in my bedroom when I was a wee boy.
Did you?
Which is funny because I walked past my childhood home today and I was thinking about this because I could see my old bedroom window.
Oh, cute.
I know. It's been 18 years in that home, but I used to have the WWF The Music Volume 5, and that was on it. It Just Feels Right.
That's right.
Not the one that was unforceable entry, but the original one, which was the lyricless. It just feels right. It just feels right. You know that? Like that would go over the
Yeah.
It just feels right. So and it did just feel right to me. So what I would do is I would put the CD into the CD player and I'd skip to that one. And I would do this dance where I would like punch my fists to the da-da-da-da. So I'd do these jabs to it. Da-da-da-da. And I would just like punch the ground. And I think, thank God my parents never walked in on me. Like I was like this 8-year-old boy with punching my fist. Can you just visualize it? And then I would stop when when the vocalist would go, it just feels right. And I would kind of sway. It just feels right. Then I'd get back into the fist pumping. I don't know why I did it. I think I was pretending I was performing for someone.
Right. I love that CD, by the way. That CD had Don't Treat Me Like a Woman. Don't Treat Me Like a Man. Treat Me Like a China. Like that was on there. And it also had Kane's Out of the Fire theme. It had Raven's What About Me. Go. Kurt Angle. And I had the rock song about pie.
Which is very racially insensitive, especially
racially insensitive. I've not heard it in a long time. I just thought it was sexually innuendos.
There's that, and there's a lot of it's racist, but right. I loved it at the time. But it's not for 2020 or
also
2021, should I say?
Also had Dan. which is the One Billy Gunn theme song.
And do you know what I love about that? It was the first theme song that played out the Titantron at Rebellion 01 because of the dark match.
Wow. Nice.
Get your saxophone.
Yeah, God. I mean, this show is everything, isn't it? It's a comedy show. We get deep sometimes. I mean, the patter is next level. And then you get a wee sing-song. It's brilliant.
There you go. I mean, why we don't have more listeners, I have no idea.
People come in to hear us going, dan, dan, dan. They just immediately tune out because they don't want to listen to that at 3 a.m. Back to Lita's theme song. I loved her song there, but the one that they replaced it with, Love, Passion, whatever it was, Fire, Fury, whatever it is, was one of my favourite theme songs of all time. I love it.
Just a great song, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, your rules, man. Yeah.
So, yeah. I love when she comes out like now, and she's going to be on the Legend show, isn't she, on Raw?
Yeah, so is Mighty Molly, I believe.
Yeah, and I believe Melina as well, and Carlito. I really like how, this is no offense to any of those wrestlers, but I love how these are like new legends. You know what I mean? Like, we've never had Carlito for Legends Night before, but to me, yes, he is. Carlito, that's not cool. You know?
Yeah, save for the Carlos Colon Hall of Fame induction, we haven't seen Carlito on WWE TV in a long, long time.
Oh, that Carlos Colon Hall of Fame induction was brutal. Oh, it was so bad. No offense to the man, but oh my God, it was so bad. Carlito was good though. I loved Carlito. He's one of my. If we had a stable of boys that were like in double figures, Carlito would be like number 10.
I loved it. I remember watching his vignettes when he first was trying to show up. Carlito, Caribbean, goal.
Do you remember? I mean, talk about good theme songs. I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. You know what cool is? You're looking at him. Great theme song. And also, did you remember the SummerSlam ad one year? Oh wait, no, it was WrestleMania. It was the advert for WrestleMania 24, and he's out there with Kelly Kelly, and he's like trying to flop with Kelly Kelly, and then like a bird drop like does a toilet on him, and then he starts wrestling the seagull, and the seagull like bites his nose and his nipple and things like that. Do you remember this?
Who came up with this idea? That was Vince McMahon in a meeting room going, "It's good."
Literally. Anyway, what was the question? Lita? Yeah, I like Lita. All right, okay. So next time on, always a
Lita action figure.
Yeah, me too. I had her and Stephanie always having matches, but Stephanie was in the figures. Stephanie was wearing like a red blouse, like full on like office gear, which I thought was interesting.
I loved that one as well.
I loved Lita with Team Extreme. I consider her my first girlfriend. I loved her. And then when she was with Edge, she was like dastardly and vile. But then you look back and she's such a great heel, you know.
Yeah, and considering how over she was, I kind of compare that to Austin turning heel. It's like, is it going to work? Do fans really want to boo this person? But she did a great job. She really did. I mean, the timing was excellent with the whole Matt Hardy stuff in real life. They really just capitalized on that and just ran with it. And
those segments around that time, like, see, before it was incorporated into the storyline, where it was like Dirt Sheet News, like Meltzer was reporting it and stuff like that. Like, she would come out of the ring and she was still playing a babyface. Before she turned on Kane, she was married to Kane. The fans would give her such a hard time. There's a show, I think it's in either Madison Square Garden or it's like Philadelphia or Boston or something like that, like a harsh crowd, and they're just so brutal to her about the whole thing, and it's like not common knowledge. Like right now, she's still married to Kane, and they're just trying to ignore it. And then Trish, I think, makes a comment and stuff. And I just feel, I mean, I don't know the situation. I don't know what the situation was, but I mean, I wonder what she was thinking during that. It's such a personal thing, being just exploited on TV, and they did the right thing, incorporated it into the story. They did the right thing, absolutely. It's business at the end of the day, That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but yeah, I was really chuffed when she showed back up at the first ever Women's Royal Rumble.
Yep.
I was a wee bit worried about her when she did that moonsault, but she did it, and it was awesome.
You can imagine Sasha Banks, though, like her face lighting up when she saw Lita come into the ring, Oh, do you remember that video of AJ Lee meeting her? She meets Lita and...
Yeah, oh my God, she's like a teenager.
Yeah. Shows you how important of a performer Lita was, not only to the business but to women's wrestling in particular. You know.
I know, and I love seeing stuff like that. I love there's a video or a picture of like a young Bailey with John Cena ascending. I love seeing stuff like that. I love seeing future WWE stars meeting established WWE stars. It's always lovely. That's always going to be the case, you know. And one of these days, when I win the Royal Rumble, someone's going to publish that picture of me with John Cena or me and Rikishi or Jeff Hardy. None of whom I actually have pictures with, I realize, but
they'll put the one of you.
It could happen.
They put the one of you, Robert and Billy, with Bret Hart wearing your jammies.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, that's in the archives, folks. Go back and listen to it.
In our archives. What about the footage of Charlotte when she was on Nitro that one time with her dad?
Of course, this is one of the weirder things: is that Charlotte was on WCW.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, can I just chuck this in before we wrap things up? I recently read Louis Theroux's book. Got to get through this. Now, I like Louis Theroux very much. I love how every documentary he does always ends with the same line. My time with the Nazis was coming to an end. Or, my time with the Westboro Baptist Church was coming to an end. But for one episode of Louis Theroux, and one episode only, he says, my time at the WCW was coming to an end. Have you seen the Louis Theroux episode where he talks about pro wrestling?
You've asked me this before, and the answer's still no.
What?
Yeah.
First of all, I don't remember asking you this.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it, but like, not recently to talk about it. I have no real recollection of it.
Oh man, it's brilliant. The way he just goes up to wrestlers so unassumingly goes, "Excuse me, Goldberg."
I could be a wrestler. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you can send me the link, I'll check it out this week.
I'll send it to you. It's on Netflix. And he has a whole chapter in his book about going to WCW and how Vince McMahon's WWF turned us down, but they got to go to WCW. So it's really interesting.
The conversation with the WCW one would have been just like, yeah, okay, because clearly had no clue, and like didn't care about anything back then that time.
The chapter is good. He's like explaining kayfabe and stuff,
right?
To the average reader, and it's really, really worth a watch. And Macho Man's in it, Piper's in it, Goldberg's in it. It's worth looking at.
Do you remember when they used to show like WWF fans writing into the company, and they used to show emails on the show and stuff? Like, I don't know if it was Livewire or whatever back in the day, and there used to be a recurring character called Kayfabe.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the credits, instead of like Kevin Dunn who produced the stuff, it was just Kayfabe. Anyway, yes. Glenn, tell everybody out there where they can find us on social media.
That's a really good question, Chris. I'm just going to grab my phone.
Sorry. So
we are on Instagram at Wrestle Connection on Instagram, and on Twitter. Drum roll, please. We are on Twitter, view profile, at WrestleConnect1. Okay,
that's right. You can also find us on YouTube just by the channel Wrestle Connection. So stay tuned for all of your upcoming Best of 2020 lists that I'll be posting over the next couple of days. And you can get us, of course, on Apple Podcasts. You can get us on Spotify. You can get us on Anchor. You can get us on Pocket Casts. You can get us on all of your favourite podcasting outlets. However you listen to the podcast, you can get us on there, as well as on YouTube. I'm quickly and surely, slowly but surely, I should say, restoring all of the full episodes on the YouTube channel. It's taken a while because, of course, we had that catastrophe back in 2020, but we will not talk about 2020 anymore. It's a new year. It's a new year. Yes, it is. That was your cue to start singing. You nailed it. You nailed it. All right, folks. Well, thank you for listening. This has been episode 38. I feel kind of lost not having a WrestleMania to talk about, but we'll come in due time. And join us next week for another episode. It'll be episode 39. And then, after that, it'll be episode 40. Oh, my God. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and be kind to each other out there in the brand new year. Goodbye.
Ta-ta.
change my mind.